All right, guys and girls. Sorry it's been a while. It's been hectic. So last time we talked a little bit about weight cutting, and the time before that we talked a little bit about hooking as introduction. And this time I'm gonna go into more detail about the one of three ways, probably my favorite way, or the way that's most successful for me. If you remember, we had 3 points on hooking a top roller, right? It was your cupping, the angle of your hand compared to your shoulder, and the wrist contact. We know if we got the wrist contact, then we got a good wrap. Now, whether it's high enough or not, but the number one thing is get your cupping really good. Learn to float your fingers and not squeeze. That's a real key. A lot of people get caught up squeezing, and when it starts to go, because you're squeezing, it just goes on. If you were just building a shelf and floating, it might actually turn in your hand. See what I'm saying? So if you're bad about squeezing, stop. Try building that shelf, floating around your opponent's hand. So me personally, I don't run into this often, but if I can't top roll the guy, I'm forced to hook him. So what I like to do, and you can notice I did this with Tom's in our first match, I like to shove this way, right? On go, ramp, start maybe mid pad, all the way to the right-handed arm wrestling, obviously, and I shoot to that left front corner. And what that does, it gives me the angle I'm looking for. I'm already trying to get it before I go. I want it at least center of my chest. If I can get it over here, it's even better. You don't want this. You don't want it. You want that angle. And when I shoved in like that, it's not the best way, but it works for me. I shoved in and got that really good bone contact because I knew he was running backwards. And I got the bone contact, and when he hit, I stopped him because he hit that bone contact there, and he couldn't go through my hand anymore because I got a full cup now, and we're wrist to wrist. And eventually, I brought him back. I don't recommend people to shoot across, because you lose position. And sometimes you got to give position to gain position. I get that. But I'm an offensive puller. I like to go this way, and I like to be ready to go that way before the go. So if your cup is good enough, you can go sideways and get in there. Even if he drags you a little bit, we're in the position that I wanted, right? So that's one way, is to set mid pad and drive. I don't ever shoot straight across. I shoot for this corner over here because it's gonna look like I shot here anyway. So if I shoot there, it's gonna look like I shot here, right? So we don't want that. We don't want to be on the losing side if we don't have to be. And I get some people, they like to set up and just basically curl in like this, and it'll look something like this on go, and I get that's their spot. If you're pulling, especially if you're pulling a tournament, you got to go through 6-7 matches on the A side. It's not the best way to pull a tournament. You're gonna be tired by round 4, round 5. So, like I said, all it takes to beat a top roller, keep this in mind, is this much movement with the hand, that much. Now he's forced to hook, or it's just gonna go to the pad. So, hooking another hooker is much, much different than hooking a top roller, right? Like I said last time, don't let him load into your hand. That's giving you no benefit whatsoever. It's giving him all the benefit. Your cup versus all his back pressure, his riser, that's like kindergarten stuff, right? But we do it all the time. So don't let him load in your hand. If you can beat, the easiest way is to use speed. The Europeans are great at this. They get up there, they float their fingers, no load, and here, he's done. Top roller's done right there. This is what the top roller looks like. That's done. That's a wrap. It's gonna go to the pad and look like it wasn't even a match. So that's the best way. Europeans show you the best way to hook, right? I like to get my pec in there, like I said, because I got a good cup, so I'm not scared to go sideways, right? And the angle right here, I need this angle, right? And like I said, if you have to reach a little bit to get a good wrap, I don't like telling people that because they get caught up chasing, you know, and before you know it, you're 2 inches off center here. You're 2 inches away from your arm, at, you know, further than you normally would be. All this matters. You know, if I'm having to stand up taller because I'm, you know, like I said before, the refs, they'll let this go. They're not, especially nowadays, they're not lined up with the peg. They're standing over here squatted, looking. They can't see that as well. So, and sometimes I'll push him just slightly off center and just keep my arm there, because he'll feel real uncomfortable because he feels underneath me already. So there's a little extra tip there. Don't push him way over here. Just, if this is center, just push him just enough off. It's hard for the ref to see that little bit, right? So offense, speed, cup, boom, boom. You know, if your cup sucks and you can't do that, work on it. Because guess what? You're not gonna hook top rollers with a weak cup. Sorry. So, and floating, like I said, floating around their hand, not squeezing it, floating around it. You know, we'll go into in the game, in match techniques. Right now, I'm just trying to key in on setup and the go. And on setup, like I said, if you're going this way, I like to start mid to front of the pad and shoot to the left, you know. And I'm not a big believer in supination, right? Straight over cup is just as good to me. This, I don't like to go. And now my thumb's turned all the way over. I'm in a joint driven hook. I mean, yeah, I can come this way, but when you start to go this way, it puts a tremendous amount of pressure on your hand and wrist, even in a hook. So if I wrist curl just neutral, not even pronation, just neutral, and I do get that hook, I'm in a better spot, right? I can see my thumb, right? Versus here where my thumb, I can see the thumb pad. I don't want to see my thumb pad really. I want to see the top of my thumb. And as I'm finishing, I can rotate with that pronation while I'm in a hook. That really, really helps. So stop, don't do this, right? We want to do this, that motion, all right? Because it's still, oftentimes, especially if they get to go, it's still going to look like that. And you see how I can still see my thumb, right? It's just over here. But if that was back in the starting position, it's where I would say, right there. If I shot this way, just to get that pinky curled in, because that's oftentimes what you're shooting for. It's just so much joint there. So much harder to go sideways. Now I will agree, it's harder for your opponent to pin you because you're in that joint driven spot, but it's hard to come out of that, and it hurts. I don't like it to hurt. Not in arm wrestling anyway. Anyway, there's you know, a lat drag style setup to get there to beat the top roll. With the press, it's very, very similar. You know, a little bit more of this motion, right? Pec deck, I'm terrible at a press. So I'm not gonna go into too much detail there, but it's the same kind of style, except I'm going here with this kind of motion too, right? Honestly, for me, that's the harder of the two to defend, because they're setting up high. They're not worried too much about this. They want that wrist contact, and I'm going here. So for me, it's harder to defend. Luckily, not nearly as many people do it. But again, speed, direction of your cup, right? Remember here, not here. angle. It's so much harder to hook somebody out outside your shoulder than it is inside your shoulder. The power level difference from here to here is a tremendous amount. If you don't believe me, just go grab some weight, put it here, see what you can move, put it here, see what you can move. Remember, we're playing a game of inches, sometimes centimeters. So, wrist cup, I know I sound repetitive, but these are the keys. Wrist cup, angle, there's one other one, now I'm forgetting, done said them 50 times. Wrist cup, angle, and wrist contact. Like I said, if I know if my wrist is touching yours, I'm in a good spot. If I look over here and I see a gap here, nope, I need to get that however I need to get it. Reaching, standing taller, however I need to do it. Next go around, we'll do some straps, maybe even a little in-game tips, you know, during the fight. So yeah, drop the questions. Again, I'm sorry about not putting them out as frequently, but you know, it's around the holidays. I've been working out a lot, been working a lot. So drop comments, like, share, subscribe, and what's up? Roll Tide.